Big Z here. Welcome to another episode of Big Z Cash City Picks. What is up with week 3? How do you like them apples? Did we just go 4-0 again? Now, keep in mind, week 6 is our goal. That's when we have everything settled, identified, and the serious games begin. But for now, we'll do our best to identify what we got in front of us. We move forward into the opportunities presented to us by week 4. We are looking for the formulation of relative strength. We are looking for which teams are developing which characteristics, what are the team's personalities, and we try to identify particular numerics used in calculating probabilities of success. That being said, moving forward. After looking at all the teams, I'm looking at Washington, at Philadelphia. I know it's a division game. I don't like particularly picking division games because teams play different when they're against their division. Sometimes they act like they're in a playoff game. Heaven's sake, it's only week 4. But sometimes the intensity comes out and we are left with surprises. But in this case, I see that Washington had a poor performance last week. I'm not particularly impressed with their offense, especially their passing game. Yes, they are involved in close games with struggling teams, but they have trouble versus teams that are balanced offensively, especially if they have a high caliber quarterback in there. When I look at Philadelphia, I see Jalen Hurts distributing the ball like nobody's business, especially the way he capitalizes on A.J. Brown, taking full advantage of all those athletic gifts. Also, the running game. How do you stop Swift? He is a monster, gashing off at defenses 2 weeks in a row now. And then you add into the mix the defense. I think Philadelphia, on its way to the Super Bowl this year, I really believe that, is good to cover -9 points. Go ahead, take a full unit, and invest wisely. Up next, I am seeing opportunity in the Cincy-Tennessee game. Tennessee hasn't been playing well. They lost badly to Cleveland without Nick Chubb last week, only managing a field goal. Both the run game and the pass games were subdued by a pretty good defense, which I think Cincinnati also has. Tannehill has only been able to throw 1 touchdown in the last 3 games. How is that offense supposed to keep up with the likes of Joe Burrow and Cincinnati? Joe Burrow does have his health concern. We're talking about his calf all the time, but I think he's improving. He's played well enough to beat the Rams last week, and the Rams went toe-to-toe with San Francisco. So that shows me the resilience in that offense and in that defense. Let's see. Cincinnati lost a close game to the Ravens against all that offensive and defensive talent, but it was a close game. Again, I still see Joe Burrow improving. He did manage 259 yards and a touchdown last week. The defense keeps them close in the match. I say that -2.5 points is a steal. I say put a full unit and then some if you want on Cincinnati covering that -2.5 points. That's ridiculous. How can that even be? Our next opportunity comes in the form of a Kansas City New York Jets matchup. That line is -8.5 points. Kansas City is favored. What do I see? I see a problem at quarterback for the New York Jets. They cannot generate any offense. The run game is anemic. I think Zach Wilson is probably not cut out for the NFL. We've seen this happen to athletes before. The run game is anemic, like I mentioned, and not even that defense, that touted, powerful Jets defense, is enough to keep them in the game. They can't help. If you have no offense, it almost doesn't matter what your defense does, especially in the face of a scoring machine like the Kansas City Chiefs. Mahomes and Kelsey are going to take care of business. Mahomes can find or create offensive opportunities and options. That defense for Kansas City is shaping up to do what is needed. It's not a bad defensive unit. So, all things being equal, when it comes down to scoring, who's going to do the scoring? I think Kansas City wins that game easily by 10 points, maybe 15. So, pick Kansas City. One full unit to cover 8.5 points. No problem. High confidence. Let's do it. See you guys in Cash City. And last but not least, our next sports investment opportunity comes in the shape of a Monday Night Football game. I'm talking about Seattle at New York Giants. That game has a strange line of -2. The New York Giants are favored. How can that even be right? The Giants have failed to impress this year. I don't see them playing particularly well. Now they have Saquon, who is not going to be 100%. Jones is not throwing impressively to be worried about. I think Seattle is going to give that offensive front a tough time. Jones is not going to be able to pass. Saquon will probably not be able to run as we're used to see him running. I see a Giants team that is, for some weird reason, favored to win at home. Maybe because they're at home. I mean, do the powers that be see that Seattle was able to impress in the last couple of weeks? Geno is continuing to know who he is. He is throwing the ball well. Last week, almost 300 yards? I think we're going to have a repeat of last week for Seattle. They're going to win this game by 10 points or more. I don't see why the gap in score should not be wider. I think that Seattle defense is a lot stronger than what New York can muster up in offense. I say this is easy. Take Seattle to cover 2 points against the New York Giants at home. Take half a unit, invest wisely, and enjoy your trip to Cash City. We got this. We'll see you there. Now, please be sure to go ahead and tell those around you about our efforts here at Cash City. We are trying to maintain a win percentage of 65%. I know it's lofty, but with enough research and enough reading and a little bit of luck, I know we can do it. Please like and subscribe, especially if you're winning. So, good luck to us, and I'll see you guys in Cash City.